Drama City Productions presents.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Johnny Paycheck coming at you from the dirty Duval. It's a great day here in the Sunshine State, so I wanted to jump on and tell you to quit wasting time going to smoke shops and jiffy stores to get your smoking materials. Enjoy your day and have that shit sent right to your house. Keep it simple, stoner. Stop spending all your De Niro, Scratch, Skrilla, whatever you call it, on all that shit too, and go to dollarblazeclub.com and use promo code CWPR25 and get 25% off. That's the highest discount you'll see anywhere. And if there's one thing the Red knows, it's how high. Timbo!
But you might as well go over to the roughneckbeardcompany.com and get you some beard products. Take care of that best friend on your face. They'll thank you for it later. Make sure you use promo code Paycheck15 to save 15% off your next order.
And then you might be able to put in, if they allow you to put multiple codes in there, put Wayne sent me for an additional 10%.
Yeah, hell yeah. Oh yeah.
What's up, party people? You are listening to Conversations with Paycheck and Red.
An inappropriate comedy podcast.
Have you ever taken a photo of your own butthole?
Do you enjoy the smell of hot dog water?
Do you have random conversations about dildos?
Well, this is the podcast for you.
Just two good old boys having no-holds-barred conversations.
All while laughing inappropriately.
Oh, hell. Paycheck and Red have gotten themselves into another inappropriate conversation. Let's listen and see how they get out of this one.
3, 2, 1.
I'm kind of liking this whole Billy D. Williams voice I got going on right now. I got this little frog down at the bottom of my throat, like I need to cough. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna go ahead and let it sit there for just a little bit, and can't even swallow right now. So like you got me a little bourgeois. You know that's French for booger, right?
A bourgeois. Oh shit. Oh
right.
man, it's good stuff.
All right, are you done playing around?
I'm waiting on you, man. I'm waiting on you.
In 3, 2. What's up, motherfuckers? We're back. Conversations with Paycheck and Red. I'm Paycheck. And as always, I'm with that pretty motherfucker Red.
What's up, party people?
Listen, what happened to the bong rips, bro?
I gotta switch it up every now and then, man. You know what I mean? I gotta keep it fluid.
I know. I prefer the bong rip. I prefer that sound. You know what I mean? It's just.
Well, I can't help that.
It adds a little more ambiance to this episode. You know what I mean? You hear that, just the strike of the lighter. You know, and the breath. You know that you can hear it. You know, it's drawing from the very tip top of this beautiful masterpiece. You know, created in some basement by some guy that just had a passion. You know. He just had a passion about, you know, water bongs, you know? Like, maybe it came to him in a dream. I don't know, maybe, you know, he read a magazine or something, but, you know, he's got passion. You know, and I can hear that passion when you take a good draw off of that water bong, you know, and I just imagine that there's little ice cubes floating down at the bottom, you know, all marinating with a little bit of resin that's down there at the bottom. The ice cubes just like nice and cold, or like it's like chilled. It's like a chilled hit of that cannabis. You know that cannabis has got that stank on it. You know what I mean? So when I hear that water bong, I can almost taste that little bit of stank that it's got on it. You know what I mean? I miss that, bro.
I don't know whether to tell you to shut the fuck up or rub my nipples because I'm turned on. Dude, I don't think I've ever in my entire life heard anybody get that passionate over cannabis and water bongs. That was I felt that right here, dog.
Yeah, see,
that right here.
That's what I miss about cannabis, man. Cannabis it's almost like we got, you know how everybody says that, and you've mentioned that you know the stars, the stuff that the stars are made out of, that's what we're made of too. You've said that.
I have said that.
Yeah, and like Mother Nature, like Earth, you know what I mean? Like we're one with Earth and everything. So I think man is like one with cannabis. I think we are cannabis.
That's why it stays in your system so long, because your body needs it.
Well, it's like cannabis.
But anyway, yeah, cannabis is part of our DNA. Absolutely, I believe in that 100%. So, in light of that, this bong rips for you, Paycheck.
Thank you.
Woo wee! It gets you by the boo boo.
Is that a strain of indica or sativa?
That is an indica.
Nice. This episode is brought to you by Grandpappy's Backyard White Lightning.
Grandpappy's?
Yes, sir, Grandpappy. So we've got this episode covered.
Yeah. Stay tuned next week for another episode of Conversations with Paycheck and Red.
Here, get this heroin out of here. Get it out of here.
Holy shit! You drop a brick of it in the floor or what?
There's nothing to see here. Move along.
Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
So today, Red and I want to talk about something that him and I have a lot in common, and it is the topic of conversation many times, and that's construcciones. Construcciones. Is that how you say it in Spanish? Construcciones.
I'm pretty sure that's not how you say it.
Le construcción.
It's
Trabajo.
There you go.
No, that's work. That's work.
Job, work, same thing.
So yeah, construct. We're gonna chop it up over construction.
On the job with Paycheck and Red.
On the job. That's what we're gonna call this episode. On the job with Paycheck and Red. So just a little background before we get started. We all know that Red's a painter, a residential painter,
and commercial.
They do commercial. They will not shy away from a commercial job if presented with one. If the money's right, of course.
Of course.
So what else? Is that it? Just painting?
Oh no, dude, I've done a little bit of everything. I've done everything from concrete foundation work to stick building houses to trim work to sheetrock installation, roofing, cabinetry. We've done a little bit of everything, and painting, of course.
I think that happens on accident. I think that happens to a lot of people who are in construction. I think especially if you're on residential, and especially if you're in new construction. Because if you're on new construction, residential, you can pretty much watch that whole house being built. In the steps that they do it, you know what I mean? You can see it without the sheetrock, so you know what size lumber they use on a load-bearing wall, or you know what I mean? So you learn a lot.
Hey, real quick, I don't mean to interrupt you. Real quick, I don't mean to interrupt you, but could you back up away from your mic a little bit? You're touching something, and it's creating a background like crazy. It's getting on my nerves. Yeah, it's fucking with my OCD. Like I can't.
Let me try something. I
didn't mean to interrupt where you were going with that, but it was fucking up.
You ruined it. You ruined it. How's this? How's my audio right now?
That's better. Yeah, you're not touching anything. See how I'm postured and I'm in front of my mic.
Yeah.
I have the floor kind of tone and posture. You see that?
Yeah, but you didn't have the floor. I had the floor, and you rudely interrupted me.
I'm trying to put out quality audio here.
I have the mic right in front of my face. It's like right here. Can you hear this? Is this too much?
It's not that you're too close to the mic. It's something you were doing was making noise. Okay?
I ain't got no panties on.
That's nice.
All right. Do we need to start this all over again or what?
No, man. Keep rolling with it.
Oh,
this is how we do it. This is how we do it. This is what we do.
All right, give me just a few more minutes. Give me a minute. Let me get back into the vibe real quick.
See, we don't. We don't leave nothing out here at Conversations with Paycheck and Red. We leave all the fuck ups in because that's what we do.
We don't even edit this thing.
No, we don't at all. We just throw it on there.
So when you said you did concrete, like what kind of concrete? Like curbs for the city or?
No, I've done foundation work. I told you, I said I've done concrete foundation work. I've done driveways, sidewalks, monolithic slabs, a little bit of curb work, concrete stamping, that kind of shit.
Nice. I'm about to say
it was the worst part of my life ever.
Yeah,
I hated every day of those 2 years that I've done it.
Yeah, concrete.
Summertime, South Carolina, concrete work. It's not fun.
That's when you shit your pants, wasn't it?
Yes, it is actually. It is.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It means a lot.
A similar situation to Red. I think I started off doing central heat and air in North Carolina in the middle of the summer, and for some reason most of the air handlers were underneath the house. So for my first couple weeks, I spent the majority of the day under a house.
Underneath the house?
Yeah, but it didn't really click until I moved to Florida. And most of our shit is inside the house.
Right. Yeah.
Even in trailers, the motherfucker is like behind a wall.
Yeah, it's not under the house.
Yeah. So Red and I chose construction because we believe that, believe it or not, construction offers valuable life lessons for young men. So I believe that fresh out of high school, at least 1 year after you graduate high school, you should find one trade and spend 1 year in there.
Absolutely.
Here's why. Because number one, you're taking a boy and he's supposed to be a man now at 18, 19 years old. He's a man in society's eyes, but not necessarily out here in the real world. So construction, think about all the shit talking that goes on in construction. Did y'all have a little shit talk fest?
Oh, dude, every day. That's what made the day go by.
It was nonstop all day long of shit talk, especially if you're green.
Oh yeah, dude. I would constantly pick on a new guy. I was that guy. I wasn't a bully, but he was always the brunt of every joke on the job every time. For about 6 months, actually, we give it to him every day. And if he stuck around, he was worth keeping. You know what I mean? It was that kind of it was like a hazing almost.
Yeah.
We seen how much he could take, and if he didn't last but a month or a week, or you know what I mean, like if he made it through our little time period, which was no set date, but if he made it through however long, he just finally fit right in, and then somebody else would come along and he would start making fun of them. So,
but think about what that does to that builds character. That thickens your skin up a little bit. You can take some ribbon. You know what I mean? Because when you're
you're around the fellas, and look, and this I've been to extravagant office Christmas parties where they spent, $1 million on that motherfucker. So I've rubbed elbows with, all different types of people, and what I've learned just from the shit talking, you know what I mean? That's where most of you young men pick up the ability, to shit talk, to be able to talk. But
absolutely.
But most importantly, receive it. Because I know grown men that can talk shit like a motherfucker, but that one time when you pop off, you know what I mean? They get all offended.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So shit talking builds character. It, like I said, I've rubbed elbows with all types of people, and just the confidence that you get from being able to shit. Because see, here's the thing with shit talking, especially with men, there's an art to it. There's a science to it. I can read it. I can pick it up. I know what you're doing when you're doing it. You know what I mean? It happened to me. It happened to me at a bar today. Some old biker dude. You know what I mean? He was trying to give me shit. Try to slide it under the radar a little bit. You know what I mean? But I picked up on it and I gave it back to him, and we became friends. You know what I mean? That's how the shit works.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So construction, number one, shit talking. It's got a lot of benefits. Being able to talk it and receive it. Give us one, Red. What's something that is that you can pass on to our listeners that you've accumulated over the years in the construction business?
I mean, I skipped back and forth between all different parts of it because I wanted to learn all of it, because one day it would be needed later on down the road. That's why I've done a little bit of a lot of shit. I mean, it was fun. I'm not cut out for sitting at a desk or pencil pushing or management or anything like that. I'm not cut out for that kind of work. I mean, I've done retail jobs when I was in high school and shit like that, but I'm not cut out for that kind of work, man. I was meant to work with my hands, and I learn something new every day, and I've been in it for probably 19, 20 years now, I think.
In the construction business?
Yeah. Because I started in it when I was 20. And I'm 39, almost 40 now, so 19, 20 years, give or take a few months or so.
You mentioned, moving around, doing all different kinds of shit. That's another good thing about construction, especially if it's residential, especially if it's new construction residential.
Mm-hmm.
So to wire a 1500 to... Shit, I could probably wire me with another good help. Oh, I mean, let me back this up. So yeah, same thing with Red. I kind of started off in the central heat and air, and then I went to framing. I went to drywall. This is back in the day when you used to stempel the ceilings instead of spray the shit up there.
Oh, dude, I hate fucking slick ceilings.
So then I found I remember having this conversation with my dad because I started talking to him about what I wanted to do and my career instead of just jobs and shit. And he mentioned plumbing, and I had no interest in plumbing. It sounded like a shitty job. So then I found electric. Well, I didn't want to dig. That was my whole thing. I didn't want to be a digger. So I found electrical work. So as a green, I found an electric company, and these motherfuckers did mobile home complete setup. So I ended up digging. My first job in the electrical trade was fucking nothing but digging.
Yep.
Setting poles, and you know what I mean. It was just ridiculous. That's what happened to my shoulders trying to pull off a fucking pull a pole off the top of a van. So we're all like this, trying to pull the fucking thing off, and my shoulders, both of them popped. But my point is that since I've done all these things, I have general knowledge of a little bit of everything. So being a homeowner, knowing how to do electrical work, know a little bit about if drywall, if I punch a hole in the fucking wall, you know what I mean. Don't worry, I can I can fix it, baby. I can fix it.
I ain't gonna tear up nothing I can't fix myself.
Yeah. You ever punch a hole in the wall?
Oh yeah.
You ever hit a stud?
Yes.
See, but that's another good thing about my kids. They trip out about it. So if you've been in the construction business, especially residential, you can tap on a wall and you can find a stud just by tapping on it.
Mm-hmm.
You got to know what it sounds like. You know what I mean? You got to know what you're listening for. But my point to all this is that you being in construction, even in one trade, you get a general knowledge of multiple trades. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I first started doing residential wiring, residential houses. You know, I went in there as soon as they got the roof on. No felt paper, none of that shit yet. You know what I mean? Just fucking plywood.
Yeah.
No, there was paper on it. There was paper on it.
Yeah, they gotta dry it in, man. That's part of the process.
Yeah. So I literally watched this house being built all the way to the final stages when they already sold the motherfucker. You know what I mean? So that was one of the cool things that I picked up on being an electrician, and why I like being an electrician is because I've wired a multi-million-dollar house, and there's no better feeling than to wire that motherfucker up with your buddy, shit talking, you know what I mean, clowning around.
Yeah.
Back then we used to smoke on the way there, smoke at lunch, smoke at, you know, on the way back to the shop or back to the house or whatever, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But to do that, and then on that trim stage, you go after they got all the sheetrock up and the appliances in, and it's starting to look like a fucking house, you know what I mean? So you go in there and you trim it out. You put all the plugs and the switches and the breakers and the lights and, you know what I mean, fucking hook up all the damn equipment. And when you throw that main breaker, when it's all said and done, and nothing trips, dude, I cannot express how good of a feeling. But we used to be able to hotwire a house, which I thought was the coolest shit, off of a temporary pole.
Mm-hmm.
So we literally wire it, trim it out, and test it before we even leave to make sure everything worked.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So yeah,
that's mostly where the job site power comes from, is that temp pole. For saws,
I have cut
compressors and all that.
I have cut another man's drop cord plugged into the damn temporary pole. Unplugging my shit and plugging his in. This motherfucker did it to me like 3 times. So yeah, general construction knowledge. That's another benefit. What else you got?
There's a lot to take from it, man. I mean,
Yep.
you mentioned life lessons earlier. That every person needs to spend at least 1 year in construction. I mean, there's not just thick skin and being able to be talk shit to, but there's responsibility lessons to be learned. There's punctuation. Not with punctuation. Learning. I mean, you can pick up a little bit of shit on the job. Not punctuation, just how to act on the job. Job site etiquette. There's shit to learn, life lessons, you know what I mean? Because knowing how to act on the job not only applies in the construction, it also applies sitting at a desk at a cubicle, typing, you know, on a computer screen or whatever. All that shit applies, man, because those days on the job site are meant for learning. You're supposed to be learning something on the job every day. I told you a while ago, I've been in it for 20 years, and I learn something new every day about something. Not just painting. I could be on the job with, you know, the plumber or the electrician or, you know, the sheetrock guy while he's still there. And I learn something new all the time from these guys that I didn't know before. You know, so pay attention. Spend time on the job.
And it's funny you talk about learning lessons. So I had worked for a few little mom and pop construction, you know, companies or whatever, central heating, air, and electrical and all that. So I got a job with one of the biggest electrical companies here in Jacksonville. They're called Miller Electric. They're a union.
Mm-hmm.
So this was my first real deal job to where like I had to go buy shit. You know what I mean? I had to go buy tools, all tools.
Mm-hmm.
So I was young, and I didn't have a lot of money at the time, and I really didn't. I was young. I really didn't know anything at this point. So I went to Walmart. So at Walmart, I got a pair of side cutters. I got a flathead and a Phillips screwdriver. I got a hammer. I think I got some nut drivers and screw lock drivers, whatever. I got a hard hat. I got work boots. So here's the lesson that
you get a tool belt to put all these tools in, or you tote them around in your hands on a job like this? Where do you mean to go first, boss? Where do you mean to go first?
Yeah. Look at these tools right here. Do I have the right tool for?
Did I get everything you told me to? Did I get everything? Did I get everything on the list?
And there was an actual list, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So,
I'm speaking truth here. I wasn't bullshitting.
Yeah, there's these people will send you to school and everything. They'll pay for you to go to school.
Yeah.
You just got to show up to there, I think twice a week. So they're wiring this. It's the what was it at the time? I think it was the Ritz-Carlton. It's the Hyatt now. Downtown Jacksonville, Florida, skyscraper type shit. You know what I mean? My first commercial job as an electrical apprentice, I guess. So, dude, I showed up in my brand new work boots with my brand new tool belt on, with my sparkling hard hat. The motherfucker was spick and span clean. I mean, you can. Now this is a skyscraper now, so they're like 15, 16 floors. There's people working on the 20th floor. There's people working. You know what I mean? So you could spot me coming from a mile away. And dude, I learned that day. Everybody was ragging on me. Everybody's picking on me about my new boots and my new all my new tools. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some tools you have to break them in. A pair of side cutters is one of those. So when you buy, in electrical, we use a brand called Klein.
Mm-hmm.
So normally we would just call them Kleins. You know, let me hold you Kleins.
Mm-hmm.
So these Kleins, when you buy them, those motherfuckers are almost locked in the shut position. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to use two hands to pry the motherfuckers apart. So the secret is to spray WD-40 in it and open them up as far as you can open them up and bang them on concrete and shit. Sorry, I keep hitting the fucking thing, but bang them on concrete. It loosens them up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, dude, these fucking Kleins were so new and so Walmart shit. I couldn't open them up like a pair of Kleins. I had to use every time I wanted to use them.
Oh shit!
I had to use two hands to open my fucking side cutters. So on my first,
hey, excuse me, sir. Can you hold this wire for me? Can you hold this wire?
Yeah. It was So now in the electric, and this is it's called a fish tape. It's used in a lot of different trades. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they told me, hey, go to the material room and get a fish tape. I was like, okay. So I leave. At that point, I was one of those shy, kind of timid. I'm new in construction. I know absolutely nothing about construction. So as I leave, I think, why does he need a fish tank? And I was like, why? I was like, I'm going for a fish tank. I was too embarrassed to turn around and be like, dude, what? A fish tank? Now he said fish tape. Okay?
Yeah.
But I heard, hey, go to the supply room or the material room and get a fish tank. So I get to the supply room and thank God there's somebody in there. So I say, hey. Excuse me, sir. See, that's one thing you don't do on a job site. Excuse me, sir. You know what I mean?
Oh man.
if anything, it's hey motherfucker. You know what I mean? So
Yo, hey, come here.
yeah. I was like,
Excuse me, sir.
yeah.
Where do they keep the fish tanks at around here?
Dude, I was way too embarrassed to actually say fish tank. So I said, "Excuse me, sir. Hey, they sent me down here to find a fish tank." Like I said it to where you really couldn't hear if it was tank or tape.
Yeah. That's great.
Luckily, the guy was like, "Fish tape?" And I was like, "Yeah." Dude, I come walking back with that fish tape all proud and shit. You know, my chest bowed out.
How old were you when this happened?
Maybe 20.
Fish tape. Excuse me, sir. Does this come with the rocks already in it, or what? Do I have to buy the rocks? Do I have to get the rocks too?
But in my defense, the reason
Funny,
I
man.
thought maybe fish tank would be even plausible is because this was a multi-million-dollar Ritz-Carlton type. You know, like I thought maybe we were gonna wire up a damn fish tank in the wall or something. You know what I mean? This was a fancy hotel. You know what I mean? So when he said fish tank, and I was like, hey, look, I remember thinking, man, that's gonna look badass.
I get to help put up a fish tank, man. That's gonna be badass. So I just speaking of fish tape, one of the electricians was on the job the other day on the house I was working at, and he broke out some fish tape because he was running new wires in the ceiling for can lights, and that shit glowed in the dark. Have you seen them shits?
Oh yeah, they have. They're called glow sticks.
Yeah,
So they're good for. Yeah, they're good for wall fishes, and the thing is, the bad thing is they the whole glow in the dark thing. Yeah, they glow in the dark, but as we all know, in order for something to glow in the dark, it has to be exposed to light for a period of time. You know what I mean?
right.
Most of us, you just keep it in this cylindrical, almost like a cigar tube. You know what I mean? That holds 6 foot. There's about 3 of them. So very rarely are they exposed to any sunlight. So you put them up in the fucking attic.
You gotta let them sit out on the job for a few minutes outside on the porch for a minute before you can use them. Yeah. That's what that guy did. He took them out of the little tube thing. He pulled out about 3 or 4 of them, and he went and set them on the front porch of the house we were working at and let them get some sunlight for a little bit. And he went and done something else before he did that, where they'd light up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just thought it was cool because they glowed in the dark.
We had this. I was the wall fish king. So like, if somebody wanted a plug on their wall or whatever, you know what I mean, I could do that shit. So I found a badass way to do it. A coax cable, dude. So if you take a 4-foot piece of coax cable, strip everything out except for that center dielectric piece of copper, that shit is so thin that I can. Now, of course, it might not work on all houses depending on how old it is, because some of the older houses that mud was a lot thicker. You know what I mean? But most of your newer houses, that center dielectric will push right through there, and you can shove 4 feet up there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you in the attic, you shine your flashlight around, and you'll see that copper. You know, because there'll be 4 feet sticking out. So you'd use that to once you find your center of your eyeball or your recess can or whatever it is. That's the easiest way to do it. And those glow sticks or the that you were talking about, they have this drill bit. It's 6 foot long, and it has a hole at the end that goes into the chuck.
Okay.
So when you're in the attic, I can lay on my back, hold my drill in my right hand, and bend it over my whole body and drill into the top plate on the left of me. It bent in like a U shape, bro. It was and I could hit the trigger and that motherfucker would still spin and everything. It was a 6 foot drill bit that would bend. So once I get to the top plate and I go all the way down, it was 6 foot. So there's a lot of it's the what is it called? I always fuck this word up. The purling. I
I always heard it as the deadwood in the middle of the wall.
Yeah, but it's called a purlin. Yeah.
So this long bit would allow me to get through the top plate and all the way down to that purlin, drill that out, and then take it. What?
Nothing.
What was you tapping your head for?
I was scratching my head, man.
So yeah, what was the point of that? It was the it was your thing, right?
What was the point of that? Yeah.
What was your thing?
I don't know.
My
we got to talking about purlins, and I forgot everything we were talking about.
well,
We're just on the job, man. Be a productive member of the job site. Don't be the board guy. Don't be the board toter. Man, there used to be a guy on the job. We built a house one time, and this guy, he was like the ground board guy. I mean, he went and grabbed boards for the cut man or whatever. But this dude would grab a 2x4 off the stack, sitting in the yard with the plastic over it. He would grab it when he first got on the job. He'd put his tool belt on, light him a cigarette, and he'd go grab a board off the stack under the plastic, and he'd throw it on his shoulder. And he'd walk around the house like he was en route to somewhere. And he'd set it down and wipe his brow for a minute, maybe light him another cigarette, and he'd pick that board back up. He'd walk around the house again, like halfway around the house again, to see another group of guys. So every time that the guys seen him, he was steady, toting the board around the house, but nobody ever seen him stop and go, stop and go, stop and go, stop and go. Everybody thought he was just toting boards around the job, making everybody. And he would do that all day long. We were working on top of the house, sheeting the top of the house in, and somebody happened to point down there on the rim. Look at John down there, damn, toting that board. Watch him. He'll walk around the house and set it down. He'll pick it up, walk around the house and set it down. He done that shit all day long. Just knock time, he'd go put the board back, take his tool belt out, throw it on his shoulder, and he'd walk back down the street. It was funny.
Yeah, but that's kind of smart. I mean,
yeah, it is.
Well, I learned that you can chit chat out on the job site, you know what I mean, but you have to look like you're busy. So when I was
that's what he was doing.
Yeah, I had a hard time with that, with the whole when I was green in the construction. You know what I mean? It's just you're the gopher. Like, I learned from like old timers, but they wouldn't teach me shit. I had to go behind their back to learn shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I was just the gopher. So I wrote down plumber putty. Do you know what plumber's putty is?
Of course.
So if you take a piece of PVC, plumber's PVC, that white stuff, and you cut it down to about 4 inches, get you some of that plumber's putty, roll it up in a ball, man, you can spit that motherfucker miles, son. Miles. Listen, like, I'm not joking.
How big of a piece of pipe we talking about?
Just a little, probably just a 1/4 inch.
Like flex pipe or what?
Yeah, flexible. Yeah. The PVC, plumber's PVC for their sinks and shit. The white stuff. I can't remember what schedule they use, but that's irrelevant. But this thing was so badass that just with your breath, you could shoot that motherfucker from when we were wiring houses. We'd wire houses and subdivisions that the whole subdivision was being built at once. So there were hundreds of houses that were half built, 3/4 of the way built. You know what I mean? So we could literally shoot a putty ball from across the street into the other house because they didn't have windows in yet. You know what I mean? So we would find other tradesmen that were, walking back and forth to the truck, get their tools out. So, dude, I had so much fun, and that was one of the fond memories. We went through a good couple of month phase where we'd goof off like that a lot with the whole plumber's putty. We've shot it. My buddy, he has shot it out of my truck and into traffic, and it lands in people's sunroofs and shit.
And they're all looking, trying to find out what just came into their systems.
That's cool.
That's one of the great things about construction is that you build a little camaraderie with the guys. You might only work there for 6 months, and you could leave no problem. You wouldn't worry about talking to those guys at all. But when you're there and you're working with them, you got your go-tos, your little clique or whatever. You know what I mean? And dude, I've had great conversation and great laughs out on a job site.
Oh yeah, that's one of the reasons why I like doing it, man. I mean, I believe in hard work and getting shit done in a timely manner and all that kind of stuff. But if you can't have fun and laugh on the job and enjoy the guys you're working around, you know what I mean? Like my dad had this saying when I worked with him that a good boss man doesn't have friends on the job. If you're a good boss man, your employees won't like you. You know, and that's true to a point. You know what I mean? Because you're by the book, you get shit done, you don't play around. You know what I mean? I get it. But if you can't have fun on the job, man, there's no point in going, because that's the whole point, is to go. Because if you go to work and you hate what you do, if you go to, you know, make a living and all that, what you do, if you can't have fun doing it, it becomes a job. It becomes work. So if you can go to work and want to get up and go to work because you enjoy going, then it's not work anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I've heard somebody say to find a job that you would be willing to do for free. Of course, you wouldn't do it for free, but if you can find something that you'd be willing to do for free, and you just have the perk of getting paid for it.
Mm-hmm. It's all about having fun, man.
Yeah.
You don't make it work. You make it fun.
I actually ran into a situation. I was in the telecommunications industry, and I started off as just an installer, and then I did some service work, and I became a supervisor. So when you're just a installer or whatever, or you know, you have colleagues, and you may even party after work with them or whatever. So I was smoking weed with my colleagues, you know what I mean, after work and everything. So then all of a sudden I became a supervisor, and I realized real quick that me smoking with them and chilling with them and partying with them or whatever, it was going to be difficult for them to see me as a supervisor.
Yeah.
And you can cut up, you can have fun, and you can have, you know, a good working relationship with people who, you know, you have underneath you. But there's still that little line that, you know, I would always prefer not to cross. Just so, because a lot of people get caught up in, okay, who am I? Who's talking to me right now? My friend or my boss?
Yeah.
Supervisor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes that line gets blurred a little bit, so it's best to just stay away from that line. And when you're at work, keep it. Well, I don't know. See, it's yeah, I don't know.
See, that was that was the difference in my dad running a job and me running a job.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad was. I mean, he was a pretty chill kind of guy. I mean, he wasn't no, you know, whip cracker or nothing like that. But he just liked to get shit done. You know, there's time and a place to play. I mean, we had fun on the job, but he was just a straight shooter. You know, me, I don't give a fuck if you go outside and smoke 10 times. As long as that shit gets done by the time I told you to, I don't give a fuck what you do.
Yeah.
I can tell you to paint them 10 doors right there by, you know, 5 o'clock, and I'm walking off. That's what you got to do today. If you want to work your ass off right now and get it done and fuck off the rest of the day, that's on you. If you want to fuck off first and then get them done till knock time, that's also on you. But as long as them motherfuckers is done by the time I told you to, we good.
Yeah.
If I walk around the corner and you sitting on your ass, I ain't saying a word.
I had a buddy of mine. He was a good friend of mine. He passed away last year. He was a good dude, man. He just needed a push. You know what I mean? He was one of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
If you push him, he'll do good shit. So I hired him, and he was working with me, and I like to get on the job site early before everybody else. I like to park my truck where it's convenient. You know what I mean? I like to get to the timber pole first.
So a couple weeks go by and he's doing okay, and then slowly it was, hey, I'm running late. Okay, no problem. And then next day, hey, I'm running late, and the next day, and the next day, and for about 2 weeks of that shit, he texted me, hey, I'm running late, my bad, did the whole thing, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm leaving. I'm leaving anyway. So I left, and he was upset with me because he couldn't afford to drive all the way out to the job site or whatever. And it's like in construction, it teaches you time management. You know how long it takes you to paint doors or paint walls. Whatever.
That's what I meant a while ago when I said punctual. I meant to say punctual, not punctuation. That's the word I was looking for right there. That's it.
Yeah. You definitely threw up some question marks.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. The next one I wrote down was cocaine.
What?
Yeah,
Cocaine.
I went through. Yeah, dude, as a electrician
on the job.
Yeah, my whole crew. It was. You ever heard of piecework?
Yeah.
So I had an opportunity to do some piecework. And what piecework is that you go to a facility and they load you up with material. So you can go in there and get one job. You can go in there and get two jobs, depending on how many guys you got. You know what I mean? It's pretty much free work. You know what I mean? So it was started with just me, and you get paid by the house. You get paid for what you do, not how many hours you work.
Right.
So I ended up, it started working out well, making a ton of damn money. Hired a couple of guys, bought some trucks, bought a couple of enclosed utility trailers, and so dude, we'd go in there from probably like 3 o'clock in the morning. We'd go hang up all of our lights, and we'd start working. And so we'd work from about 3 o'clock in the morning till about 10, 11 o'clock at night. Like we wouldn't even put the drop lights away because we knew that we were going to
Wait. You said 3 o'clock in the morning until 11, 12 o'clock at night. The next day.
Yeah. No. 3 in the morning. 2 or 3 in the morning. We get started. We work all the way that day until about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night.
The next day.
No, that same day.
Well, I know it's the same day, but I'm saying like the next get up and go to work day, like the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sometimes we wouldn't even leave the job site. We would stay there for 2 days, just working.
What?
Yeah, I mean, we'd eat. Somebody would take a nap. You know what I mean? It was free for all, really. You could do whatever you wanted to. But listen, we did not leave the job site. I had a microwave in that utility trailer. We had coolers and shit. So in the morning, we'd stop at a store and we'd get something for the whole day. So the only way to do this and to be able to maneuver through life is with cocaine. You know what I mean? You start your bump, about noon. You know what I mean? And but dude, I made a lot of money with the help of cocaine doing piecework.
Shout out to cocaine.
There was a time where I left to go get cocaine, and I left my guys on the job site to keep working, and did all the cocaine before I got there, and had to send another guy. I gave him money and told him and made it go get more cocaine. Like, man, I think I dropped it. I must have dropped it. Dang. I'm not proud of those days, by the way, for all the kids that are listening. I'm not proud of those days. Okay, I wasted a lot of money, wasted a lot of time. You know what I mean? Make good memories. Worked my ass off.
Would you change it if you could go back and change it?
Probably not. I had a good time. It was fun. I made good movies. It was probably it wasn't healthy for my body, of course.
Were they really good memories though? Cocaine fueled memories really don't turn out to be good ones most of the time.
Yeah, but there's a difference between doing cocaine and robbing stores and picking up prostitutes and shit. You know, there's a big difference between that and doing cocaine and going to work for a living. You know what I mean?
You were a functioning member of society.
Yeah, and I didn't need the cocaine. It was just a phase that we were going through that, you know, we were just out there working our asses off, sun up to sundown. I mean, it was a point to where we didn't even think about home life and, you know, what are you doing tonight? We were working all day. When you do piecework and you get paid by the job, we were trying to knock out, so let's say a small little 1,500 square foot house, I can make $800 on it. So a small 1,500 square foot house, I can get that motherfucker done in, you know, 3/4 of a day, maybe even half a day with 3 guys. So we'd pick up 2 jobs. So we would try to knock out two jobs a day. So you're talking about a bare minimum of $800 a house, knocking out 2 of them in a day. That's $1,600 in one day. That was our goal. And we did so well to where I hired guys, and they had a utility trailer, and they would go pick up material too. So there would be a whole row of streets that needed to be wired. We would wire 4 of them in one day. Small ones, little 1,500 square foot houses. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that I wrote down, which I have some, dude, these fucking Porta-Johns. For those who don't know what a Porta-John is, these are temporary shitting facilities. It's just like a green box. You know what I mean? It's almost like an airplane seat. You know, that's how much space you got in there, really.
It's a portable outhouse, is what it is.
Yeah, that's it. So, there used to be some nothing against Mexicans or anything like this, but for some reason, I don't know if it's a culture thing or I'm not sure, but a lot of Mexicans that I've worked with, they wouldn't sit on the toilet seat and shit. They would stand on the toilet and hover over top of it and shit in the toilet.
That's the way you're supposed to shit. That's the way your body's made to shit.
But a lot of them miss.
How do you know this? Do you spy through the little vent holes in the top of the Porta-John and see how these people are shitting, or what's the deal here? How do you know that?
Yeah, that's what I do.
That's pretty brave, man. That's brave.
And I didn't do all that cocaine to peek in some dude, taking a shit in the damn Porta-John.
How did you know that?
They ended up telling me. Because
they ended up telling me.
Yeah, a few times because they miss and they end up shitting on the toilet seat.
Well, I thought you were going to tell me like there were boot prints straddling the seat.
Yeah, they were there, but I wasn't really concerned with that because I was too upset about the shit being on the damn toilet seat. So I go in there and I show my ass, and listen, don't be shitting on the damn toilet seat. But I have been taped in a fucking portalet. Like, they ain't knocking over nothing. They weren't that dumb. But I've had motherfuckers throw rocks at me while I'm in there. That was the fun part for me. I'm pretty sure I've thrown rocks at everybody who has ever been into a portalet, whether I knew you or did not.
Funniest thing I ever seen. We were on a job one day, and it was me, my dad, and a couple of guys that worked with us. And it was in the wintertime, so it was probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about 25 to 40. It was cold outside. And one of the guys that was working with me and Dad was picking on my dad something terrible all day long, picking at him, painting the back of his shoes while he was on the ladder, rolling up the back of his leg when he walked by with a paint roller, so I'm just picking on him all day long. And all day long, my dad would, all right, boy, you keep on. One of these days, I'm going to get you back. So this went on for a couple of weeks, whatever. This guy picking on my dad. Well, one day, this guy went out to the Porta-John to take him a shit. And it was cold outside. So it was a quick thing. It was in and out, you know what I mean, because it was so cold. And he waited till the guy got out there in the shitter. closed it and locked it. He kind of followed him outside. So when the guy closed the latch, closed the door and closed the latch back, he locked himself in there. Well, whenever you do, there's a hasp on there for you can put a padlock on or a peg or something to lock the door. So my dad goes off to the edge of the woods over there and where the house was at and breaks him off a little piece of a twig and sticks it in that little hasp on the door where even when the guy unlocks the door from the inside, he can't get out. My dad goes and gets the water hose. And in the top of a Porta-John, there's air vents around the top of it.
Mm-hmm.
My dad took the water hose, wedged it in one of them little vents where it wouldn't go anywhere, went over there and turned it on. And at 30-some degrees outside, dude got soaked.
Yeah, I'm sure he had to go.
He come out of the Porta-John. My dad finally took the little stick out of the door. He come out, he had water dripping off his nose. He was soaking wet.
Pissed.
He was pissed. He said whenever the water started hitting him, he was running around the inside of that little Porta-John trying not to get wet where the water wouldn't hit him. But he never fucked with my dad again after that.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
We used to tape guys in it and leave them in there for, an hour. It's amazing how much fun you could have with, a shit box.
I've seen them turned over on people too.
And that's where I draw the line. That's I'll kill you or something like that.
Yeah. When I used to finish concrete, one of the guys thought it'd be funny to go over there and turn the John over on one of the guys we were working with, and it wasn't too funny.
No. It got all over him?
Oh, yeah. The blue shit, the shit, all of it.
No, I draw the line right there. But another thing about construction is that you got to have some common sense about you in construction. If you don't, you're going to learn about it. And a lot of these young cats, they don't have a lot of common sense. So that's where you kind of learn, a man ought to learn, when you just got to be a little bit more cautious on your questions in the construction business. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to common sense, because you will get picked on. You know what I mean? Just some common sense.
You ever confessed out loud on the job site that you didn't know how to read a tape measure?
Nope. Nope.
You just showed up on the job one day and knew how to read one.
No, I think I went to my dad. I think I showed up to a job site not knowing how to read one, and that night I learned how to read one. But there's help for that too, you know what I mean? If there are tape measures that they're called easy read tape measures, so they'll tell you what everything is. So I think I ended up buying one of those and just memorizing. But it's again common sense. You look at a tape measure and you get a general understanding of you don't even have to know everything about a tape measure, but think about a fucking clock or your gas needle. You know what I mean? Quarter tank, half tank, 3/4. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. You wouldn't have lasted very long on the job sites I've been on. The guys find out you got an easy read tape measure, they'll hide it from you.
Oh no, I didn't. I didn't carry the easy read to work. I'm not that dumb. I bought one to help me, memorize.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, but see, that's another thing that separates me from a lot of other people, and this is, some man shit right here. But if you're on a fucking job site and if you don't know something or if you're being trained something, write that shit down. You know what I mean? Take notes, because I remember in the electrical trade, they'd tell me to run a wire from here to there, and they wouldn't tell me what it was for or whatever. So finally I told them, I was like, listen, I'm not just going to run fucking wire and shit. I want to know what it is. I want to know why, you know what I mean? So I got a piece of cardboard and I took a small little piece of each piece of wire that we dealt with in that house. And I wrote down what it is and where it goes and all that shit. You know what I mean? And dude, I got a lot of respect from that because you showed me once, day 2, I was pulling my own shit. You know what I mean? I didn't need direction. You know what I mean?
You went home and studied.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's pretty commendable, Paycheck.
You know, that was the first job I ever had that I took seriously. Like, being an electrician intrigued me. The electricity itself intrigued me. And now,
Well, not to toot my own horn, but I was always a quick learner. If I was on the job and we had to do something, I would just pitch in and help, and help do it. So that way, the next time I would know how to do it. I was always a quick learner. I didn't walk around the damn job site with a notepad and a pen. You know what I'm saying? I ain't doing that. I kind of, it was a hands-on learning experience for me.
Yeah, it is, but see, you do all that on the job. So on the way back to the shop or on the way back to the house or whatever, you ought to be in there asking them questions about, hey, why did we do it like this? Why did we do it like that? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Those things that you should be writing down, because the worst thing you want to do is when somebody asks you, hey, why'd you do that? You don't want to say, oh, because he told me to. He told me to. You know what I mean? You want to know why you're doing it.
Right. Of course.
That's that work ethic. The world lacks it, I think. I'm seeing it a lot, that the work ethic just sucks these days.
Oh, yeah. It's the millennials, man. It's the millennials and the fucking robots taking over.
Robots? You got robots at your job?
No, man, but everything's going automated. You ain't even got to go to a fucking movie store no more to rent a damn movie. They got robots to do it. They got kiosks built where you just pick a movie and it shoots out of a little hole. They got fucking car manufacturers that robots put fucking cars together every day. Where back in the day, they used to do that shit by hand.
Yeah, but
they've got self-driving fucking 18-wheelers right now. One day you're gonna be out of a job.
No, that'll never work.
Dude, it's already working.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Do your research.
I did. I've seen it.
It's working right now.
But it's not.
But it is.
No, it's.
I just watched a shit ton of videos on this just the other day.
Right. It's driving down the road by itself, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you see it back itself into a door? Did you see it check itself in at a shipper or receiver?
It's all automated, dude. Yeah, I've seen all that. I damn sure did. Yeah.
No, you did not.
Yes, I did.
Oh, that's a negative, Ghost Rider. That's a big old.
I'll find the damn videos I watched the other day, and I'll send you the links to them. I've seen all that. The check-in, the fucking docking of the fucking truck, and all that's automated.
Yeah, you saw a CGI, like a little.
No, this was a real truck riding down the road.
That's not happening.
Oh, okay. I just seen the shit the other day, dude.
Right, but what you saw is a prototype. They are not working. They are not out here working at the moment.
In Japan, they are. I seen it.
Yeah, maybe in Japan they are.
Right. I didn't say it was over here in America. I said it was in Japan.
But Japan's economic system, that might work. The United States economic system, maybe not.
Yeah, but they won't know unless they try it.
You'll never listen. This same thing was talked about with trains. Somebody had a dumb idea that trains can take over and do everything that a big truck could do, and that's not feasible. Nor is it
back away from your microphone again, man. You're all up on the mic again. I'm getting this shit again.
That's not because I'm up on the microphone. It's because I keep hitting the wire down here.
Yeah, you're bumping it. Back up from the mic a little bit.
I'm gonna have to rewire some stuff in here.
That concludes another episode of Tool Time with Paycheck and Red.
So yeah, cocaine, Porta-Johns, tape measures, all that good shit. I had fun in the construction business. You know what I mean?
I have to have fun every day.
I'm a little too old for it now, just the whole climbing up and down ladders and shit. My body's just, I'm beat up a little bit. So I prefer to just sit behind the steering wheel and drop loads all over the face of America. One face at a time.
That's the greatest analogy for any job I've ever heard.
Some of them you got to force the load on them. You know what I mean? They're like, no, stop, don't. You know,
You gotta make them take it.
yeah, then they'll be like, no, don't stop. You know?
We're not ready for that yet. It's not time.
Yeah, but it's aggravating like any other job. You know, it's so you have person A and person B. Person A is selling something. Person B wants to purchase what person A is selling. So they find a mediator, and that mediator finds somebody to get said good from person A to person B. So I pick it up from person A and I take it to person B, and person B's like, "Oh my God, I didn't know you were coming." You know what I mean? I'm not prepared for you to be here. We are not capable at the moment of receiving the load that you're requesting to drop all over the face of, our
This
facility.
This America.
Yeah. And that always trips me out. I'm like, so y'all didn't order this stuff? No, we did. Okay, so get it off my shit. I'm here.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you don't have an appointment. I'm like, oh yeah, well, I'm here.
Yeah, if it wasn't for people like you, Paycheck, I wouldn't be able to do the job that I do.
Nobody would be able to do the job that they do. I mean, listen, and I'm not just.
Take the compliment, okay, and shut the hell up. Just take the compliment.
Thank you.
Just take the compliment, man. We don't need an explanation.
Yeah, but I want the listeners to understand when you see that big truck out there on that road. Yeah, he's slow. He's in the way. But I want you to understand. I want you to stop what you're doing right now. And I want you to look around your house, look around your car, look around at the office, and I guarantee you will not be able to find one thing, not one thing, that was not in a truck at some point. Not one.
Okay, we get it. You've got the most important job in America.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Dropping load.
Somehow that makes me feel inadequate right now.
Well, no,
you should have just took the compliment. We could have just shook hands.
Listen, I'm proud of
parted ways.
I'm proud of what I do. This is a life. This is a lifestyle. Okay. Not everybody can park a 53-foot trailer in the crack of a gnat's ass.
You can't either.
Shit.
That's a pretty big ass gnat.
Listen, that's my expertise. That's where I get down at. That's where I show out. Dude, I'm that guy that I will.
That's your finishing move, huh?
Yeah, dude, I will put my little 45 in the trailer and step out onto the top step. And walk that motherfucker right on in, son. Right on in. They'll be like, look at this motherfucker hanging out.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, Paycheck, for all you do for America.
Oh man, don't mention it. Don't mention
it. And the faces therein.
Yeah. But see, I really didn't grasp that until one day I did it at my house. I literally went through my house thinking there's got to be something in here that was not on a truck at some point. And dude, nothing. There's nothing. Food, furniture, clothes. I mean, fucking everything. I have hauled just about everything. A lot of ass, for sure. I've hauled a lot of ass.
Oh, yeah.
All right, well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Construction, the do's and don'ts, the ins and outs, the ups and downs. Okay, what you do with that information from here on out, that's on you. All right, good talk, Red. Thanks for chiming in right there, man. It was
Oh, I was waiting for the silent moment. That was a perfect timing, and you fucked it up. That quiet, that Paul's silence was on purpose, but you fucked it up.
Nah, the pause was there.
You fucked it up.
No, I waited. The pause was there, and then I waited.
I go for the dramatic pause, not just a normal run-of-the-mill willy-nilly pause. I go for the dramatic pause, so it's just a tad longer than just a regular pause.
You go for that ...
Yes.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. Construction, the ins and outs, the ups and downs, the do's and don'ts. Did I already say do's and don'ts?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Red? Anything like time on in whenever you want to.
Yeah, it don't mean as much anymore, man. You just took the wind right out of the sail.
All right, well, there you have it, folks. Instruction. The ins and outs, the ups and downs, and the do's and don'ts.
Porta-Johns, tape measures, cocaine, and dirty jokes.
That's
That's
it.
it.
On the job with Paycheck and Red. You're welcome. See ya.
Later.
You've been listening to the Conversations with Paycheck and Red podcast. Check out Paycheck and Red on Facebook at Paycheck and Red, Instagram at Paycheck and Red podcast, and Twitter at Paycheck and Red. And don't forget, paycheckandred.com, where you can buy merch, you can subscribe to the podcast, and you can listen to the podcast.
Hey folks, Brandon Fisher here, the host of Sack 'em Up Sundays, the show that talks about everything and fucking nothing.
That's the best opening to a Christmas special ever, is talking about the accidental N-bomb, like right at the fucking gate.
Brought to you by two people who don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Why are we eating the audience?
Join us each week as myself and Dipsy D go down some of the deepest rabbit holes.
So shoots himself in the dick and shit. It's like,
Bridge, put it down. Papa Dog had one.
Ask the hard-hitting questions.
why do you think Santa did not stop the Holocaust?
And learn the truth once and for all.
But at the end of the day, you have to know who you are. You're a fucking potato.
You're a fucking potato.
Aliens orchestrated 9/11.
They fucking went Independence Day on that bitch.
That's it. They
green beam on that bitch.
They orchestrated 9/11 so that we would enter into the forever war with the Middle East, which would ultimately wipe out humanity, so that the aliens could then come on in and reclaim planet Earth, which used to be theirs. You can join us each week for more hilarious bullshit over at DramaCityProductions.com.
Oh man, we need a mop. It's about to get messy.
Drama City Productions.
It's a podcast network that brings you several genres of podcasts: movie reviews, true crime, comedy, interviews, and much more. Visit DramaCityProductions.com to find all the amazing shows today. Find Drama City Productions on Twitter and Instagram at DCP Network. And stay in touch with the network and all the podcasts available. DramaCityProductions.com, where podcasting lives.